Hi, I'm Kathleen Hawkins, your proud president and founder of WOAMTEC. I am so excited about this month's edition of WOAMTEC Live. I think you'll be falling in love with it. We've got two amazing guests that are here today to help us rekindle our relationships, reestablish our marriages, and just bluntly feeling sexy about ourselves all over again. Because you know what? If you don't love yourself, it's hard to love others. And that's what WOAMTEC is always about, is making a difference in the lives of others. And understanding that when you have balance in your life, when you walk with passion and pride and confidence, and most of all, a purpose, you walk with a different step. You walk with a different beat. We're going to share with you a lot of helpful tips and tools, even a few marketing ideas and suggestions, business building ideas, branding ideas throughout today's episode. So thank you so very much for tuning in live for WOAMTEC Live. I do want to let you know that we've got some amazing things that are going on right now. The first is our first annual Youth Foster Care Summit that is going to be held on February 16th. We can still use your help, though. It's really important that we have the support and the just support from all of our sisters throughout the country, all of our brothers throughout the country, in helping make a difference to break the cycle of victimization, to help these young adults who are aging out of foster care, who have accepted the fact that their relationship with their family has been severed, and they've accepted the fact that they will not be adopted and they're going to embark on life by themselves. I ask you to put yourself in those shoes. If you were 18 and alone, what would you do? How would you find the courage to dream? How would you break the cycle of victimization and believe in yourself? Well, we're going to start by trying to do that on February 16th here in Orlando, Florida, by inviting hundreds of kids in foster care to attend the first Youth Summit. We have amazing speakers, one who you're going to hear from in just a minute, great prizes, great giveaways, lots of wonderful donations, and just an empowering day for these young adults. Now, if you want to make a difference in your community, I want to talk to you about bringing a summit near you, because we do want to take this summit on the road. It's not just about empowering kids in Florida. It's about making a difference in the lives of these young adults throughout the nation, so we can truly help break the cycle of victimization and build and strengthen our communities and make it a little bit stronger, make it a little bit different, and really make a difference, because that's what the core of WOAMTEC is about. When you help other people reach their goals and reach their dreams, you're paid forward. It will be a blessing back to you. So speaking of helping build relationships and helping people reach their dreams, our first guest here today is an incredible coach, a wonderful man, and a fantastic member. I think you were probably one of our first gentlemen to join one of our chapters, and you've started a trend, because now we have guys all over the country that are part of WOAMTEC, which is exciting. So we all need a few good men, especially some men as good as you. So thank you, Roy, for being here today.
I wish my wife was here to hear that. I don't know. She might be gagging if she heard all that. But I think I was the first man to join, I think.
I do believe so.
Because I was at the door knocking, because I'm a relationship coach and this is a good environment for me. So I was like, can you let me in? And then finally, all right.
Well, you know what? I gained a lot of respect for you that day, because I do remember the time when you first came in and you politely sat me down and asked if I would have permission, or if you would have permission to join our chapter, mm-hmm. and I was so impressed. And we've always known that men are welcome and women are required, and everybody needs a few good men in their lives. But you've really handled it with respect and professionalism, and I think you've set the bar for a lot of our other guys that have joined chapters throughout the country. So thank you.
And one of the things that I appreciated, I didn't know how I'd be received, not by you, but by the other women. I thought there might be a little bit, hey, this is our little thing and you're a guy, but I didn't feel any of that. Everybody was like, glad you're here, and it's been great.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, tell everybody a little bit about who you are. You mentioned you were a coach, who you are and what you do. Tell us about your business.
Right. I do relationship coaching, and I work primarily with people that are single. Though I do some stuff with couples, and I do other kind of business coaching when it comes up. But as everybody knows, in their businesses, you have to have a niche and a market, and you put your limited resources into your marketing in a certain way. So I work mostly with people that are single, and I joke that that they don't want to be.
So if they're watching today live and they don't have a Valentine to celebrate Valentine's Day with, then they might want to pick up the phone and call you, because who knows, you may meet the man or woman of your dreams. What day is it? Like, we got like 10 days.
Saturday the 14th is coming up.
So it's right around the corner. Clock's ticking, which is awesome. So I want to mention something, because you've heard me say this before, and I want to preface this by saying that Roy has never told me anything that he has shared with any of his clients from a confidentiality standpoint. But I personally have watched over the last probably 7 years, watched Roy develop relationships with different members that are part of our organization. And I can personally tell you that I have seen him work with a teenager, a young boy. I've seen him work with a widowed woman who was dealing with the loss of her husband. I've seen him work with a 20-something, late 20-something young lady that was just looking for love in all the wrong places. And I can tell you that all three of those scenarios came back and talked about how much you helped them. And that really meant a lot to me because I work with coaches all across the United States, and I can tell you that a lot of them don't know what they're talking about. They don't have a lot of training or experience in their field. They have a passion, and that's wonderful, but they might not have the knowledge or the expertise. But to work with those types of demographics shows that you really do have a skill set. So I applaud you for that. That's awesome.
Thank you very much. I think I've had clients as young as 16 and as old as 74.
That's awesome.
So I had a 74-year-old woman that was like, I want to find my life partner. I'm like, you go, girl. I mean, don't ever give up. So that was fun.
That's awesome. Now, how do you work with them? If there's somebody that's watching and they're in, Lafayette, Louisiana, shout out to you, Jean Phelps. If she's watching and she's like, you know what, I want to build my relationship, I want to strengthen a relationship, or I want to find a relationship, how do you work with somebody from a different state? Well,
I do coaching by Skype, by phone, or in person. And one of the things that I'm really proud of in my business is I've created like a whole host of a product suite is what they call it, of different ways to engage with me at different price points. So I have books and I have online training things, video-based e-courses that are done like in a professional way like this. I do group coaching, which is very inexpensive because it's a group instead of, and then I do the individual stuff, which is the most expensive. But it usually is where we can dig in there the deepest and make the best results. But the phone, believe it or not, I first worked with a coach. That's why I got into this, is because I had relationship drama out the wazoo. And I hired someone, and it was so powerful for me. That's why I got into it afterwards. But when I first started talking to this person, I was like, over the phone? Like, she's in California. How do you do like therapy over the phone? But after a while, it was just like talking here. Well, after I got a picture of her, she had a picture of me. We're just talking.
And I do business assessments. One of the many things that you get when you're a WOAMTEC member is you get a 1-hour annual business assessment with me, followed up by a report of people I would like to introduce you to. I've developed a relationship with Roy, so I know his expertise, so I'm better able to say, hey, I think you should meet this person, or this person may be a good asset to you. So it's a good way for me to get to know you. But a little secret that I have that not many people know is I like doing them on the phone. Like, even if you were local, I don't want to meet with you locally necessarily because I'm able to ask you the more difficult questions without the awkwardness when there's the phone in between. And a really good assessment
I thought you were going to say you could do it when you're in your underwear.
No.
I didn't know. Because I don't want to.
No, but we are going to talk about underwear in just a few seconds.
I won't coach in my underwear.
No, but it's true, Roy. And I'm sure you probably find this too, is if you're hiding behind something that's buried so deep within you, sometimes it's really hard to get out. And when you feel more vulnerable, you're less likely to share it. So the one of the best assessments that I ever do is if I make you cry on the phone, then we're getting to something authentic. We're getting to something that's real, right? Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would say that's usually very true. When you get down beneath the veneer and the persona and all of that, and you get to the real stuff, that's when the transformation happens.
Absolutely. Well, tell me a little bit about, I know you've got a new book that's coming out, but what are some of the suggestions that you would have for some of the people that are watching here today that, I mean, in every relationship, you could be happily married and you could need assistance, coaching or need to take the blinders off to see things from another perspective. So what are some of your suggestions?
The principles of conscious living or effective living transcend whatever arena that you're in. So it might be whether you're in the health and wellness field or in the financial field or some sort of business or in the relationship dynamic. Principles are principles. And I would say the main one, which on the surface it sounds like, of course, but it's the most radical one. And that is sort of where do you locate the reason behind why you might be stuck or not attracting whatever it is you want to attract into your life. And what I mean by that is, especially in my field with relationships, like there's a whole subculture. You've been married for a while. So there's a whole subculture in the single world, information on the internet and in books and stuff about how to find your partner. There's everything from teaching guys to be pickup artists to, there's a whole dark side to the whole industry. But what it comes down to is I found that coaches fall in one of two categories. They're either going to tell you how to play the game better or they challenge the game altogether. Right? Now, so what I mean by that is in my business, it's if you don't have the partner or the love life that you want, you can either think, okay, it's their fault. Like it's all the men are taken or gay, or, women are needy and gold diggers, so you can blame out there. The problem for my life circumstance is not here. It's somebody doing something to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The economy's this way, it's Obama, it's this, it's the Republicans, so we have a tendency when we're facing a challenge or we're stuck in some way to look out there for the reasons why this is happening. So
play a victim.
Right, exactly. So the big shift is when you take radical responsibility for what's happening in your life and you say, no, I refuse to blame the economy, God, my parents, men, women, or anything else for whatever situation I'm facing. And I'm going to ask, what am I doing in my life that is creating this outcome? How am I responsible for what's going on in my life? Now, that may seem like a pretty easy thing to grasp until you're working with someone, and they're stuck in some way and they're wanting to shift the blame. Well, I can't do that because of this, or this is holding me back, or, whatever the reason. And you're like, no, I really want to invite you to ask a different set of questions. How are you committed to your results?
Mm-hmm.
How are you? Why is it serving you to stay stuck? Mm-hmm. What do you get out of staying stuck? What's the benefit of staying in some pattern? Whether it's growing your business or growing your love life. And then it gets pretty sticky. So that's the biggest thing, is where you're going to be looking for transformation. Because if it's always somebody out there,
mm-hmm.
well, then you're stuck because you can't change everybody out there. But if you turn and you say, boy, there's something, maybe I don't even know what it is that's going on in my life that is sabotaging my health or my business or my love life, then things start to happen. You get at things you can change.
I think that's critical, and I think that's so very important because you see people all the time that you're right, even in business. So it doesn't even have to be your relationship, but they're always looking for the problem and playing the victim. And when you're playing the victim, you're not able to clearly see the solution or even find the solution because what victim is and has self-empowerment, is able to go conquer the world. It's a different mindset, which is important. Now, I know that you have a new book coming out. Talk to me a little bit about that, because I'm very excited to learn more about it. And I want everybody that's watching to purchase this book because you'll hear just a second.
And it falls right in line with what I just said. So the book is based upon everything really I've learned in 10 years of working with people on their love lives, I've put into this book. And it's built around a quote from an old mystic poet who lived in like the 13th century, a guy named Rumi. He was like a Sufi poet, okay? But he said something about relationships that is really powerful. He said, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you've built against it.
Okay.
So right there, that goes countercultural to everything you're going to see in the world today on relationships. Don't seek for it, because most people are like, where do I go to meet this person? How do I dress? What do I say? How do I approach them? How do I flirt with them? How do I get them to get my number? So it's all about seeking, seeking, seeking. It's how do I find love? Whereas his quote says, forget that.
Okay, say the quote one more time.
Right. Instead of seeking love, merely seek and find the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. So the perspective is, if I don't have the love in my life that I want, it's not because of something out there. It's I've got some sort of barrier. I'm sabotaging myself. I'm blocking it. So this book is about trying to uncover the barriers or the blocks that you have in your life that actually keep you single, rather than where do I go and what do I say and how do I hit on a girl or something like that.
Okay, that's brilliant.
So I identified 7 barriers. There's 7 things that I've experienced in my own life and in my clients' lives that sabotage them from moving forward. And I'll describe a couple of them.
I was going to say, share some with us.
And the ones that really transcend relationships and can even sabotage your business. Because we were talking before we went on the air, attraction's attraction. You want to attract more money into your life or more health into your life or a better relationship. It's the same kind of things. So the first one is something that I call when you're incomplete with your former relationships, the baggage, okay? So you've been hurt, you've been deceived, you've been heartbroken, you've had things happen to you in your past. Everybody has had that happen to them.
Absolutely.
Right. So if you haven't processed that, you bring it forward, and now if I have problems with my past relationships, and when I meet a new woman, I'm going to see you through the lens of all of them, right? So I have a sports background.
Mm-hmm.
And in sports, to be effective, all the sports psychologists, it's basically one principle. It's, can you be present in this moment and not be worried about what you just did? Like the last shot, the last pitch, the last at-bat. Because if you're like, oh, I haven't had a hit in a week, and and you're thinking about what happened on the last hole, I'm a former golfer,
Mm-hmm.
then you will screw this one up because you're not here. You're still bringing all that junk with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have a clean emotional slate, right? So when you start talking about people's love lives, you need to have a clean emotional slate, because otherwise I'm going to assume you're a certain way because the other woman was, or I'm going to be afraid you're going to hurt me because that happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're incomplete, you bring all that with you and you poison the relationships, and you end up chasing away the possibility of a good relationship because of all that baggage. Right?
So it's working with someone to identify what the baggage is, what the stories are, what the things that make you up who you are today.
Right.
So you can find clarity on that,
Right.
and then not project that into tomorrow.
Right. We basically help a client get specific and be able to describe what their baggage is. Let's just get out and say, okay, I've got real trust issues because the last 4 guys that I've known have all cheated on me. Okay, good. All right, now we know what it is. Now we got to clear that up. Otherwise, the next time you meet a man, you're going to be secretly, just like, you're going to do it again. And then you might have a wall up. You might, never really open up and be vulnerable or be authentic because you're afraid you're going to get hurt again. So you have to identify the issue. And then, of course, the skill of a coach is how to help them release that.
Okay.
And let that stuff go and be able to open their heart to something new. And this is true in business. What if the last 8 people you talk to in selling your product have all shot you down? And now you're feeling, I kind of hate clients, and I hate my life, and I hate all this stuff. And I've got another appointment with someone. Well, how am I going to be? I'm going to be in a bad mood. I'm going to be thinking that you're like the rest of them. So you can bring your past with you, and it colors your energy. It makes you depressed. It's hard to stay motivated in your business if you're living in the past of what has or hasn't happened.
Right, absolutely.
So it really transitions. So that's one of them. You can tell me on time here.
No, you're fine. You're doing great.
Another fun one is something I call your relationship persona.
Okay, this is interesting.
So when we're little, no matter how good your family life is, you sort of figure out that if I act a certain way, that I get more attention and affection than if I act another way, right? So maybe, in your family of origin, like for me, I'll just give you an example. The way I got affection and attention from my mother was if I pretty much did it her way. If I didn't irritate her, if I just, what's your agenda, mommy? I'll be a good boy and I'll take care of it. Because if I didn't do it her way, then there was a distance there. She wouldn't, be violent, but she would have anger.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my dad telling me when I was a little kid, son, don't go there, man. Don't fight her. Don't do your own thing. Just do it her way, son. It'll be easy, right? So I learned the way I get close to a woman is by taking care of her and, fulfilling her needs and her agenda and really disowning whatever I had going on.
Right.
Right? Now, I didn't know that I was learning a way of relating, but lo and behold, later on in life, it was almost like, well, this is the way you get a woman to like you. You start doing her laundry, taking care of her kids, cleaning her house,
now, is that
taking
too
out
bad?
her dog. Well,
I'm thinking that sounds like a great idea, Jeff
It's not, but I was doing it, and that's an important point. I was doing it because I was afraid you wouldn't love me unless I did that for you. So I wasn't doing it because I just loved you and I wanted to be of service and I want to help out. I was doing it because I felt like I had to earn your love and to be so valuable you would never let me go. Okay,
so that makes sense.
Right. So that's what I call a persona. Little bad boy Roy, just be a good boy to mommy and she won't, kick you to the curb.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So all of us have something like that. A way that we seem to think we need to act to get a man or a woman to like us. So some of the common ones for women, we use names all the time, like a Florence Nightingale.
Okay.
Women say all the time, why do I keep attracting men whose lives are broken down and they're falling apart and I got to fix them up and heal them up? Well, you probably learned from an early age that the way you got daddy to love you was by taking care of him and
bringing
rescuing
him coffee
him
or
and
bringing him the
right
newspaper.
so you learn, well, that's just the way you treat. So then the thing with the persona is that when you think you have to love that way, it attracts someone who needs you to love them that way, right? So I kept attracting women that were like damsels in distress. They didn't have their lives in order. They were overwhelmed with responsibilities with their kids, and they just couldn't handle it. And they were, just so, and they needed me to swoop in there. Hey, I'll take care of you.
Right.
I'll take care of your kids. I'll do your lawn. I did all that stuff. So it's like I was a hero, and they were in a victim-y place and a damsel in distress. And it just gets to be a mess.
Okay, now I have to interject here real quick because I know that there's probably some viewers that are watching that are thinking, okay, I married that person and now we're in a marriage. Does that mean I need to call Roy to get coaching on how to live effectively? Or does that mean to call the divorce attorney so I can get out of that and then call Roy to get into a new relationship? Can you change something that's been broken like that?
I wouldn't be in a good relationship now if you can't change it. You can certainly change it. And everybody has this. Unless you've done a real bunch of psychological work, you've got some of this. So the trick is, once you see that you've got a persona and your partner's got a reciprocal one, they sort of like cookies and milk.
Yeah,
like,
I'm seeing something we could talk about.
Like I'm the hero and she's the why do I keep... Once you see that, if you can talk with your partner about that and say, I think we've got a little dynamic here, kind of a codependent thing where you're one way and I'm this way. If you can see that, you can shift it. Okay. Now, sometimes if your relationship is working good, it's working good. But look, usually what happens, it turns into drama. Because after a while, I stopped wanting to have to earn this woman's love, and I stopped wanting to take care of all these things just because I was afraid of losing her. And then when I stopped taking care of that, well, now the whole balance of the relationship stopped. And now we started to fight. So if you're having drama, it's probably because you're stuck in loving from one of these personas that are not your authentic self, but a way you learned when you were little to try to survive and get attention and affection. So you just need to go to someone that knows what they're doing. And if you both can see this, then you can grow. You can challenge each other to not love in that way and be playful. I mean, my wife has got a persona and I can make fun of her when she gets into that, and she gets on me if I start, being all like sweet and nice where she feels like it's not like a real honesty thing. Women can tell when are you just doing something to get laid? Can I say that?
You just did.
I just did. No, there's no button over there that Jeff has to. Careful, Roy.
That's awesome. No, it's awesome. And it's true. And these are all things that are really important for us to address and for us to talk about. Would you mind sharing one more tip before we go on and talk more about your book?
Another barrier would be the whole issue of masculine feminine dynamics. And that's the healthy kind of chemistry, because the persona stuff can be where two people are attracted to each other for not good reasons. But one of the main barriers is especially in single relationships, people don't know what it means to be truly masculine and feminine and how to use that energy magnetically to attract the kind of partner that they want. So I do a lot of work with my clients around this, around men learning what it means to be present.
That's, I think, huge.
Right. The essence of the divine masculine, the really grounded masculine, is his full and undivided presence in what he's doing. So that when he's with a woman, the woman not only feels like he's listening, but he gets me. Like he can almost feel my emotions before I even show them. Like, so when you're with the guy and you feel like he really understands, he's reading between the lines, he's almost in my experience. That's how much I feel he's here. He's not drifting on. I got to watch Sports Center. What are you talking about? Right. So a man learning how to use his presence.
So would you coach a man on how to learn that and coach a woman on how?
Right. Okay. For a woman, it's radiance.
Okay. On
the feminine side, is how much a woman's kind of emotional and physical body is open to love. Just how much flow is in her life, how much brightness is in her face, versus how you can be dark or be depressed or
Mhm.
be closed down or in some sort of state where your heart isn't very open, right?
Okay.
Because the more a woman's heart is open and the more she's playful and sensual and vulnerable and spontaneous, the more the divine light shines in her face, and
Right.
she's just, man, there's something about her. Remember the old Beatles song, "There's something in the way she moves
Right.
that attracts me like no other lover"? So what is that something? To me, it's radiance. And there's a way to brighten that in a woman's life. And there are ways you can darken it. And so when I'm working with a female client, that's usually what we talk about a lot, is how to brighten your radiance and how to diminish it. And part of that is your next guest is going to talk about some
Right.
things you can do with the way you dress that can make you feel more feminine and more open and sexier and that kind of thing, which affects just the way your energy is felt, in a relationship. So all that masculine feminine stuff is huge. And even in relationships, the longer you're together, you can end up kind of blending into each other, where you sort of lose your differentness.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you lose the differentness, you lose the polarity, you lose the sexual kind of zing between the two of you, because the woman may be taking on too much of the masculine role. The man might be taking on too much of a feminine role, and then they turn into like the friend zone almost.
Right, absolutely.
And now we're co-parenting, and we're no longer man-woman, which is what happened to my first marriage, because I'm remarried now. So we could talk for hours on what that means,
I think
because it's
awesome.
kind of a deep topic.
I think it's awesome. And I know that you mentioned that you have webinars and you have different things like that. Do you talk about any of these things? Like if somebody went to your website and they said, I want to research, this is my problem or this is my challenge. Can they go to learn more about you if they're not ready to pick up the phone and hire you as a coach today?
Well, right. The book.
Dun, dun, dun.
The book covers all the things I just talked about in depth. I'm doing a 3-week phone group coaching program, starts in February 15th. And the topic is going to be on masculine and feminine dynamics. And it's geared towards single people, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where your relationship status is. So and people that are joining the group, they get a free coaching session with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
They get a free copy of my first book. This is my second book. And it's dirt cheap. It's like $20.
Okay, so
they
that's
get a coaching session, a book, and 3 hours of coaching for $20.
For $20? Oh, that's incredible. That's a great price.
It's the front door of my business.
Now, I'm going to ask this question because I'm sure that there's somebody that's watching this that is wondering the same thing. If they don't, if they're hesitant to talk about their relationships, their sexuality, their, whatever it may be, in a group coaching call, would they still get benefit? Like how often are you going to call them out on the spot?
Never.
And make them share?
Right. There's sometimes between 25 and 75 people on these calls.
Okay.
So on the hour-long call, I usually present on a topic for 35 to 45 minutes. And then we just take questions. So a person can be on the other end of the phone listening and never say a word.
If they don't want to ask a question,
Right.
if they have that fear of speaking out.
Or they can send me an email privately, say, I've got a question, and I'll answer them.
Okay.
So yeah, you're never going to be put on the spot and never called out and embarrassed and all that kind of stuff.
And how do they sign up for that coaching session?
Right on my website, coachingwithroy.com.
Okay, so coachingwithroy.com. Now, I do want you to tell them how they can get that book, because I love watching people's marketing ideas and watching you on social media and watching what you're posting on our WOAMTEC Facebook page. And I can tell you, when I first started to see Roy posting on our WOAMTEC Facebook page, at first I thought you were smoking something. Like, I was like, what is he doing? I got to get a hold of Roy. He's going to lose so much money. Well, I did think it was the hard copy. I did think it was the hard copy book. So at first.
Right.
But then after I watched what he was doing for a while, I was like, that's brilliant. I mean, it was a brilliant marketing idea. So if you're an author or a soon-to-be author, learn from this man. But either way, I want to encourage everybody out there to help support him, help get his name on the map. And I'll tell you what that map is in just a second. But when I first saw it, I thought 99 cents, I'll buy it. I'll go online and just help Roy out. But never would I have thought I'll buy 10 of them, because it just didn't dawn on me until I realized what he was doing. So how can they get your ebook for 99 cents?
Right.
You get a lot of great information. And how can they help you?
Right. The context here is I have been waiting to launch this book on Amazon to a good time of the year to launch a book on relationships, which is February, because I want to become a bestseller. I want the bestseller status that Amazon will give you. And the way that works is if you sell a bunch of books in a very short period of time and you jump in the top 100 of your category, then even if you're only there for a day, then you're a bestseller. And that's a huge thing to have on your signature line and on your website. I mean, it carries a lot of credibility. So the way it's done is you sell the e-version of your book, not the paperback, of course, because it costs money to print it and ship it. But you sell the e-book for just one day only for 99 cents. Normally it's $11.95, but on one day, February 9th, which is coming up, very soon here, we're selling the book on the Kindle version on Amazon for 99 cents. And I'm trying to get everybody in the world to buy the book or buy a couple of copies for friends. And if we get enough sales on that one day, which I'm pretty sure we're going to, I'll have bestseller status.
Okay,
and you get the entire book. I mean, because it's 77,000 words and it's 260 pages.
A good size book.
This isn't a pamphlet.
Right. No.
So yeah,
that's a
99 cents is insane. It is insane. But that little gold medallion that says bestseller,
that will definitely help.
Gold,
and
right.
if you're out there and you're wanting some extra publicity, it definitely when you have a published book, it gives you validity in how qualified you are. I remember being on a talk show one day and she said, "Oh, I wished you had your business book out because I'd have you on the 700 Club tomorrow." And it was like I don't know who watches the 700 Club or what kind of audience that would bring me, but just missing that opportunity, you never want to miss that opportunity. Right. So
a book gets you must have credibility. I don't know if that's fair, but it's true. And a best-selling author notches it up another
Makes
level.
You more than someone that self-published your own book,
right?
With a bunch of grammar errors by a local printer.
So I'm asking anybody that sees this, if you see it before February the 9th, to go to Amazon Kindle and type in the title of the book, which is Attracting Lasting Love, and you'll find it on Kindle. Buy it for 99 cents. Buy a couple, put other people's email addresses in there, and
that would be awesome. Well, I know he would appreciate your support. I would greatly appreciate your support because help a brother out, help a fellow member out, and help him make a difference. But most of all, I know it's got good content in it. I've seen it. I've looked at it. I know Roy, and he's spoken at many of our conferences, and will be one of our speakers at the Foster Care Youth Summit that we're doing on the 16th. So he's not only wanting to make a difference in your lives, but he's going to make a difference in the life of a child who's been abused, neglected, or abandoned. So thank you very, very much, Roy. Again, tell them one more time how they can find you, okay, and tell them when your group coaching session starts.
Coachingwithroy.com, and the group coaching session starts on February the 15th. It's called the Master Find Circle, and it's right on the front page of my website. Can't miss it. Okay, well, I'm going to sign up for that, so I look forward to participating. That's awesome. You couldn't hurt to learn something, right? I think that's really important, really critical. So I do want to talk real quick. We've got a couple of WOAMTEC special promotions that we're doing right now. We've got the 3 for 30. You can help your chapter grow and in exchange earn your WOAMTEC membership for free. So for every 3 guests that you invite from February 1st to February, is it 28, 29, or 30? I didn't look that up. The month of February. For every guest that you invite to a WOAMTEC meeting in the month of February, you can qualify for every 3, gives you 30 days for free. So invite 3, 6, 9, 12. I don't care however many, earn the whole year for free if you want to. Now, this is my challenge to you. I talk to business owners all day long, time and time again. People, some of them are as savvy as Roy with knowing how to market and how to get on the America's bestseller list. Some of them not so much, and they're kind of dragging there with their business. I don't want you going to a networking meeting hoping you're going to meet somebody that will make a difference in your life or in your business. I don't want you going to a networking meeting hoping that you'll find a new strategic partnership by chance, because the odds of that happening, the laws of attraction or just the odds of it coming together to make that happen are very, very slim. I want you to learn how to be in control of the people that you're going to meet. Who would be a good strategic partner for you? Maybe for Roy, for example, maybe it's an estate attorney or a divorce attorney that knows somebody that's recently divorced that's looking for love. Maybe it's an estate attorney that's working with somebody who their husband just passed away, a widow. Maybe it's a counselor that deals with 16-year-olds
because it's not about selling to people in the room. It's about knowing somebody that's going to have access to people that they can refer you to, that their demographics are the same as your demographics. So look at who you're trying to connect with, and remember that when you connect with them, invite them to be your guest. Just get 3 of those estate planning attorneys there, or 3 of those divorce attorneys there, and 30 days of your membership is free. But it's not about saving the 30 days of your membership. It's about making the connection with those 3 business people that can actually change your life and build your business. So we're going to go back to talking about feeling feminine again, and how to feel sexy, how to get your sexy back. I think that is so awesome. And as we approach Valentine's Day and as we approach bikini season, I think it's important that we all find our confidence with who we are and what we are, and just be proud with the body that God's given us, no matter what it may be. So I've invited the fabulous Patricia here today to be with us to tell us a little bit about her business. It appealed to me for a couple of different ways, and I'll tell you what those are in just a second. But Patricia, why don't you first start by telling us who you are and tell us a little bit about the company that you work for.
Okay, well, thank you so much for inviting me, Kathleen.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. I'm Patricia Graaff. I'm the owner of Royal Lingerie Florida. I represent the European brand Royal Lounge Junkie. Moving here 4 years ago from the Netherlands, I discovered it was hard to find like a good bra. And I connected to already like one of the designers I knew back then in Europe, and that's how I started importing the bras and bathing suits to the US, and I'm actually the first seller here for Royal Lounge Junkie.
Okay, and one thing that I want to begin by saying is I'm very, very impressed, because the first thing I thought of is, European bras or European swimwear or whatever, it's got to be really expensive where I'm not going to be able to afford it. But it's right in line like with the department store, Victoria's Secrets, anything like that. So,
yes.
And it's very high quality. So tell us what makes your lingerie a little bit different before we get into how to make sure we're wearing the right thing.
Okay, well, the difference is the quality, first of all. It is good quality product made in just a high quality way. Then again, it's super comfortable. Well, as I may repeat some of my customers, it's hugging you, and it's like the hugging month, February, of course. So the bras are hugging you, so that's the good thing. So you don't feel it. It's almost like a second skin.
Okay, that's awesome. So, and that's the point. I think if you have the right fit, if you've got the right shape, if you've got the right support for yourself, you're right. It should feel like second skin. It shouldn't feel like, oh, this is killing me. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So what do you offer your clients, and why would they want to go to your shop versus going to like Victoria's Secrets?
Well, first of all, I help them out with the right fitting, because fitting is really important. About 70% or even more of the ladies are wearing the wrong size or aren't even aware of their size right now. So that's a big thing. Then second of all, during your lifetime, for all kinds of reasons like losing weight, gaining weight, pregnancy, your size will change on an average like 7 times during lifetime. And that's a lot, and people don't realize that. So they think the bra they bought like 10 years ago is still that very same bra that they can wear nowadays, but your body changes, of course. So I help them out with the right fit, try to find the right bra for them, and everybody is different. Like people have different sizes, and you can have like small breasts, bigger breasts, but there is a bra for everybody out there.
So if they're watching the show today, and let's say they're in Central Florida and they want to get together with you, do they come to your store? Do you go to them? What are some of the options?
I actually do both. I do lingerie parties. I come to people's houses to help them out with the right bra. They can come to my place. I have a showroom right next to my home. And I have a shop downtown Winter Haven, or actually it is a co-op of 12 vendors. It's actually a really neat shop called The Red Geranium. It's at 318 West Central Avenue. And that's where, where I receive my customers as well. And it's a wonderful shop to shop around for people as well.
Okay, now, I have to ask this question because it's my job to ask the questions that they're thinking, but they can't ask. So if you wanted to do a lingerie party, let's say I'm saying, okay, well, I like your bras, they're pretty, they're your undergarments, I want to see your swimsuits, and I want to do this event. I could have a girls' night out. I can invite some of my neighbors over, but the idea of walking around and changing with bras and underwear in front of all my neighbors, sorry, ladies, is not something that I'm excited about doing. So what does that look like?
Well, what I usually do is I bring in some of my bras and bathing suits, because I also have bathing suits. I show them the quality, I show them the different types, and what we usually do is, well, they pick one that they like, or a couple of them they like, they try them on like in the bathroom, and I help them out with fitting and everything in the bathroom, so they don't need to do it like in plain public.
Okay, so it can still be a girls' night out.
Yes, it can still be
you'll
fun.
Have a little bit of private time in a different room. So.
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
Okay, that is terrific. Now, what are some of the tips that people need to look for when knowing if they're hiring, or if they're meeting with somebody, like if they're not here and they want to buy a bra from you via the internet, but they live in Phoenix or Texas, or whatever.
Yeah.
What do you recommend? What do they do?
What they do is they have to find like a specialist. Like a lot of people are capable of fitting the right bra for them or measuring them in the right way. The bigger department stores can help you out with that. And of course, the bigger lingerie brands can do the same thing in store. Well, you have to be careful about one thing. What I experienced is that people, when they try to measure people, they also try to sell you a bra, of course. Often you see sizes going up to a 38 in the waist, while some ladies are bigger, like for example a 40. So please mind that you always try it on in the right way, see if it really fits you, because sometimes, well, they try to sell you the bra anyways, although it's not your size, you know what I'm saying? But go in there, try to get some advice. I wouldn't advise you to buy a bra right away online just by guessing what your size is, because that's not the right way to do it. I do have my online store as well. You can order your sizes there, but just get fitted first. That's the big thing. Yeah.
Okay, so make sure you get fitted. And I know I've heard like Dillard's and Macy's and some of those places have good, people that are capable of fitting you. But like you said, I think the biggest catch is if look at what the largest sizes they go up to, and if that's what they're squeezing you in.
Yeah, because I had one lady, really, I helped her out pretty well. I'm really proud of that, actually. She went to Dillard's one day and went for bra sizing, and somehow they only went up to a 38. And they sold her a 38 while she was a 40 around the waist. And that bra felt so uncomfortable while she paid a lot of money for it. That's just a pity. I felt really sorry for her.
Just to kind of give them a ballpark, what price range do your bras typically range in?
They're between like $49 and $65. Most of them are $49. This month, for the month of February, I've got a really good deal going on. If you buy a bra, you get a free matching penny, and I have a really cute bra on a sale, like as a set, for $49. So.
Oh, for $49, that is awesome. And what about your bathing suits? What price point do they usually run?
Around the same price. The top will be like around $49, and the bottom's $21.
Okay, so that's very realistic. And is there anything special or unique about your bathing suits?
Well, the bathing suits run in bra sizes, and you don't see that a whole lot. So you can buy them separate, like top from bottom. So mix and match with the sizes, because we don't all wear like a large, a medium, and a small, both top and bottom. That never works out. So
Roy was talking about us. Roy, give me help here. What was the name that you used? Finding your light or lightening up, or what do women have to? Radiance. That's the word.
Radiance,
okay, thank you. I was just seeing if he was really still listening. Roy was talking about finding our radiance and feeling good. And I know he mentioned that Jeff and I have been married for a long time. We're celebrating 19 years of marriage right now, and it's been a long 19 years. But I can see how, when after a while in any relationship, or as life changes, not even, you could be single and watching the show, and you may not even be in a relationship, but as life changes, especially if you're out there and you're a mom and you're stressed and you're tired and you're working and you're juggling all these plates and doing all these things, we start to let ourselves go. And you start to skip on things like new bras and stuff like that. How important is intimate apparel for women in attitude? Like with the women you've worked with, what have you seen?
I've seen that it is really important. Like, it's so important what you need or what you wear underneath the clothes you're wearing. I see people like once they wear a good bra, they get really like confident about themselves, and that's what affects relationships, like their personal relationships, but also relationships with other people, being in business, for example. It's also important to really feel comfortable. And well, I noticed that helped them out a lot. And well, for example, a good bra can like really make your dress. If you wear the wrong bra, it can break it too, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
absolutely.
and that's so important.
And is there any other critical advice that you would give a woman on how to feel comfortable no matter what size or shape or what body God has blessed her with?
Well, you know what? Everybody is beautiful in her own way. That's how I feel. Size doesn't matter. And everybody always wants to look at the perfect sizes because that's what you see in commercials. But you know what? It's all about your self-confidence, like how you feel in a bra or in your lingerie. And that can be something simple and comfy, which makes you look good. But it can also be something, well, a little fancier. Like everybody's got her own rules and her own like requirements for that, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, and I love everything that you've shared with me. That's why I wanted you to be here today, because it's my prayer and it's my goal that every woman that's watching the show today finds their radiance and feels sassy and sexy and beautiful, especially as we approach Valentine's Day. So if you are watching here today and even just want some advice on how to pick somebody that can do what to look for and knowing if they're qualified or not, or if you have already been sized and are confident in the size that you have and want to check out your product line, how do they find you online?
They find me online on royallingeриeflorida.com.
Okay, so royallingeриeflorida.com.
That's it. I'm also in the Red Geranium, that's downtown Winter Haven. It's also mentioned on my site, so the address, everything is on there. I'm on Facebook, so please like my Facebook page, which is also Royal Lingerie Florida. Email, call me, like everything is on the website as well.
And she is a wonderful WOAMTEC member, so you can also find her through the WOAMTEC member directory. Again, her name is Patricia de Graaff, and it was such a pleasure to have you here today. I can't wait to go shopping, so I told you that. I think I asked her here just to save me a trip to her store, yes. But hey, whatever it takes. But I, again, am so happy to have you here, and I hope and pray that this Valentine's Day, each and every one of you find the confidence that you have to become a confident woman and to feel radiant and in love with yourself, because it all starts from within. So get rid of your stories, identify the possibilities of everything that can happen if you focus on finding your confidence and being the best woman and the best man, if you're out there watching, that you can possibly be. Again, thank you so much for being here. I'm Kathleen Hawkins, your proud president and founder of WOAMTEC, and I look forward to meeting with you again next month. Happy Valentine's Day.